Barbadians answer the Prime Minister's call for a pause against crime and violence. The juniors have their day of revelry.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Hello, I'm Sharika Griffith with this weekend edition of NewsNight. In our top story, several Barbadians paused for 5 minutes at noon to observe Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley's call to pause for peace. And Ms. Motley continues to urge people to play their part in the fight against crime. Rachel Agard filed this report.
Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley observed the 5 minutes of peace at noon with members of the Bushal community, which she represents. She made the call for the moment of silence as the island continues to look for ways to quell a recent upsurge in crime. After the pause, Ms. Motley told those gathered that Barbadians are not violent people.
I have known what it is to see ups and downs, but I've also always felt the resolve of people to be able to rise over challenges, whether it is in the individual household, whether it's a mother trying to fight up with the children that she's raising, whether it is a fella trying to be able to portray for his children, the baby, the dampers, all of the different things, whether it is the community as a whole recognizing that the few incidents that we've had out here where people have lost their lives, the rest of the community coming together and saying, we don't want that around here. This is not who we are.
Recalling some of the incidents in her constituency, the Prime Minister has called for all to do better in the fight against crime.
The amount of grief that they leave with the children that no longer got a father, or the mother that lost a son, or the sister or brother that lose somebody, we know better. And no handful of people can take this country and wipe out the progress that we make unless we let them do it. The rest of us can stand up and step up. Let us step up. If we step up, then I know about here will be better.
Some Barbadians have also expressed their views about the crime situation.
I pray that all hear what she said and would do. I would like to say that the youth from in the parents' gut, the mother's gut, learn the right way to speak.
Dennis Moore says he supports the Prime Minister's call.
Carmen doing a good job. She's trying her best and she can't do everything her own. I think so.
And at least one youngster, Jalen Brewster, says violence is not the answer.
I feel like people just need to take a moment to think about what they're really doing and committing these crimes. So if they don't commit these crimes, then it will maybe bring an uptake in the community, especially in the youth.
Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Thanks, Rachel. Well, the very best of Barbadian culture was on display for the world to see as the island's children reveled at this year's Sunshine Snacks Junior Kadooment. The National Botanical Gardens was transformed into a colorful spectacle as more than 20 bands crossed the stage.
It was picture-perfect weather as hundreds of youngsters paraded in their colorful costumes. This year, emphasis has been placed on teaching children about the history of the festival and involving them in the costume-making process. It's been commended by Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley, who wants parents to ground the youth in values and creativity.
All of these things are teaching moments, and we don't only learn with our brain, we also learn in terms of how to use at that stage our hands and to be able to do how to bring everything together as one. And this is what Kiddies Kadooment does, because it's not just about today, it's about the whole run-up to today. Then you see some with choreographed pieces, which meant that they had to be able to work together and do movement. So look, this is great for us.
After participating in the Junior Masquerade project, the Shirley Chisholm Primary School was among the bands on parade.
Our band depicted 3 sections about possible futures for Barbados. The first section was Desert Fury. If we don't do something about climate change, what will become of us? So they were scavengers looking for any and everything that's left, and she represented the Sahara dust that is encompassing, we all suffer from it. This year we had so many plumes coming over our island. The second section was technology. We're moving more toward that. So that section represented us moving more towards tech and computers and stuff like that. And our final section, our babies, the Great Rebirth, is all about green energy and recycling and preserving our planet. It's the only planet we have. It's the only home we have. So preserving it, and we use the babies for that section to show we have to get them interested in caring for our planet, because otherwise they won't have anywhere to live.
A number of bands, including Pineland's Creative Workshop, also paid tribute to the late veteran band leader Gwyneth Squires.
We used to play in her band every year. She basically taught us the art of the costume making. So we thought it fitting this year when the NCF gave it as one of the teams that it was just the right way to send her off to her final resting place.
And as far as crop over wishes go, 6-year-old entertainer AJ had this to say.
I don't want to see no bad vibes.
What does bad vibes mean? What do you want instead?
I want good vibes. Move over there. Move over there. So, cause I got bad vibes, wrong vibes. Move over there. Move over there.
And with crop over in full swing, there's a call for Barbadians to engage in clean fun. It's coming from Chairman of the National Cultural Foundation, Dr. Jasmine Babb.
The one thing I would encourage everybody to do is try to have good behavior. I really would like to impress on people that, ladies, please be on your best behavior on Kadooment and whatever else we do, but enjoy.
The Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, or CAF, has been hailed by Barbados for its role in providing finance for the region. During its Board of Directors meeting held in Lima, Peru, the bank announced it has allocated $2.74 billion in loans across 9 member countries in the region. The funds will be used to help fuel their energy transition, shore up their ecosystems, and improve infrastructure. The bank also signed humanitarian aid agreements for 3 nations and approved Antigua and Barbuda as its newest member. Barbados was represented by Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn. There's been another fire at the old Ministry of Health complex in Bay Street. Motorists heading into the city today from the south of the island were diverted as a result of that blaze, this time at the old Family Planning building. Divisional Officer Tramel Perch says reports of the blaze reached their operations control room at 9:05 a.m.
We were responded with 4 water tenders from Worden Fire Station, Bridgetown Fire Station, Port Fire Station, and our Hearts Hall Fire Stations, with the Deputy Chief Fire Officer, myself, Divisional Officer Perch, and 19 other officers.
Mr. Perch says when they arrived, the roof was on fire and officers fought to contain the fire.
Fire Station, Port Fire Station, and our Hearts Fire. Yes, it's the 3rd time, but each time we come, we try to do our best to quell the flames and minimize the losses as much as possible.
As a result of that fire, organizers of the Tipsy Music Festival pushed back the start of their beach event by an hour to begin at 1 p.m. instead of the original time of noon. Well, the Office of Reparations and Economic Enfranchisement, the Division of Culture, has unveiled a monument honoring stalwarts of the St. Michael South constituency. Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, says based at Jessamy Avenue, Bayland, St. Michael, is a tribute to men and women who would have helped build the constituency. National hero Sir Garfield Sobers, entertainer Edwin Yearwood, and deceased veteran band leader Gwyneth Squires are some of the names inscribed on that monument.
That would have helped build the constituency, that would be the person to set examples, essentially to be exemplars of what it means to be involved in the community, to honor one's community, to be able to put your hands to the plow in the community. And we have done this across other communities as well, because it is important as a government and within the Division of Culture that we make sure that people from within communities understand that we are hearing them, we see them, we feel them, and we intend to honor them as well. That it's not just, again, about those who we may consider quote-unquote big ups, but that we are recognizing people from within the very communities.
Meanwhile, Parliamentary Representative for St. Michael South and Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Kirk Humphrey, says the unveiling of the monument is a historic occasion for his constituency.
It wasn't particularly difficult for us to find names of persons who could potentially be on the monument. But the difficulty came about selecting the persons who we would want on the monument, recognizing that in communities, there's always going to be somebody who says it should have been him or it should have been her. And if you look on the monument, that's why we kept a couple pages of the books free. I think the idea of the books too is because people write their names into history. And so if you look, there's a whole set of books with names written on the books because these names have been written into the history of this great community. So we've chosen a number of persons, all known in St. Michael South, for the work they would have done.
Sports time. Good evening. I'm Damien Best. The West Indies earned a first innings lead over England, but the hosts regained the advantage with a brutal batting performance to end day 3 of the second test at Trent Bridge. Resuming on 351 for 5 in reply to England's 416, the Windies were bowled out for 457 in their first innings. Joshua Da Silva with 82 not out and Shamar Joseph 33 at his 71 runs, that is 71 runs for the last wicket. Chris Wokes was the pick of the bowlers with 4 for 84. England in their second innings are 248 for 3, an advantage of 207 runs. Harry Brook is unbeaten on 71, Ben Duckett hit 76 and Ollie Pope 51. Back in the region, Renico Smith scored a half-century and took 2 wickets as Barbados under-19s battled Jamaica under-19s on the opening day of the finals of the West Indies Rising Stars 2-day championship. Sent into bat at the Arnottsville playing field in St. Vincent, Barbados scored 200 for 9 declared. Smith led with an even 50 and captain Nathan Seeley, he scored 29. Tamari Redwood, he took 3 for 61. Well, in reply, Jamaica under-19s were 72 for 2 at the close, trailing by 128 runs. Smith has so far taken 2 for 16. Well, Barbadian Zane Maloney remains third in the drivers' standings despite not scoring any points in today's Formula 2 sprint race in Budapest. Zane was set to start third on the grid but was relegated to a pit lane start as a result of engine failure during the formation lap. He, however, fought his way back to manage a 14th place finish out of a field of 22 cars. Drivers will return to the track tomorrow for the feature race, which is set to start at 4:05 a.m. Barbados time.
And that's our news. Good night.